you make sense of a year like 2020? It's no mean feat. Over the next hour, we'll be showcasing award-winning photographers from across the globe who've overcome enormous challenges to make some truly powerful work that's already sparking conversations on some of the most important issues of our time.
And if, like me, you've wiped the entire last 12 months from your memory, fear not. I had a quick look at the photos before we started, not a mask in sight. Instead, what we're offering you is an all-expenses-paid trip around the world. A memory of a simpler time, when we could travel freely and cough directly into each other's opened mouths.
We'll be travelling from Zimbabwe to the Netherlands, from Mexico to Iran and beyond.
Let's go.
دائما في سوريا نقوم بتصوير القتل والدمار والنزوح، لأن هذا الذي يحصل بشكل شبه يومي نتيجة الحرب هنا. أحاول دائما التركيز على الإنسان، على الأطفال، لأنهم أكبر ضحية نتيجة هذه الحرب. أحاول التركيز على قصصهم ونقل الوجه الآخر للحياة هنا، بعيدا عن القصف والقتل والحصار والتهجير. بدأت بتصوير قصة عندما كنت في زيارة لأحد مدارس ذوي الاحتياجات الخاصة في بلدة الجينة في ريف محافظة حلب. فشاهدت المدرب وسيم ستوت وهو يقوم بتدريب أطفال على الكاراتيه خلال حصة الرياضة. يقوم بتدريب أطفال لديهم إعاقات مع أطفال سليمين في محاولة منه لتقديم دعم نفسي لهم ودمجهم مع بعضهم البعض. لفتت نظري قصة المدرب وسيم والانسجام والسعادة الذي لاحظته على وجوه الأطفال هناك.
For me, I think you don't really notice Anas. He's amongst the children. You feel as though you're part of it as a viewer, and I think that's really important. But clearly he's really considered where he is when he's taking these photographs. If you look at the sight lines, the doors, the mats on the floor, it's all very, very carefully considered. But equally he's managed to capture the sense of movement. You really felt that the children were engaging and enjoying what they were doing, but he was in the midst of it all.
These are some of the most extraordinary photos we've seen today. I mean, this is the work of two people who have managed to find the human story behind stories that we might read about in the news, and things that are often written about in abstracted terms suddenly become very real and very, I don't want to say relatable, but certainly help build empathy with the people behind a lot of the headlines that we read.
I think empathy is a really key word, Nish, because particularly for Laura, she's all about wanting to draw out the honesty and the raw reality for her subjects, for her portrait subjects. And she's talked about how she spends usually more than a year working with people to really get herself into their lives, gain their trust, and then be able to capture these moments, as she calls them, the kind of in-between moments of photography. So Baruch, for example, an amazingly intimate moment just as he's waking up. And she was interested in him because he was at this threshold in his life, trying to consider maybe breaking away from his very devout, religious, closed community and emerging into the world and experiencing things for the first time. Then you've got Jack, one of the kids she met around a council estate in Birmingham, which again she visited numerous times, really befriended the children there. And she captures this wonderful moment just as the sun is setting, where he's got a lollipop in his hand and a cigarette in the other, just on the precipice between boyhood and manhood. Really intimate, wonderful pictures.
Yeah, it's an incredible photo, and, you know, if you think about how casually headlines are written about kids on council estates, she's really trying to give a sense of what the actual people are that are involved in that. And, I mean, in a similar way, Anas has made an extraordinary collection, and the title of the collection really gives you all you'd really need to know about the overarching themes of it, which is sport and fun, not war and fear. And he's taken photos in this karate class where this teacher teaches kids of different ages and also kids with special needs, and has highlighted the joy that exists in the day-to-day moments in Syria between the harsher moments that inevitably come with the conflict. And Anas is a photojournalist and he has spent a lot of time documenting what's been happening in Syria. But what I love about this is that he's chosen to highlight the little moments of joy and mischief that exist between the kids in the karate school.
Particularly, I don't know about you, Nish, but I look at these images and I hear sound.
Yeah.
Kind of flooding out from them. You hear the sound of kids smashing themselves on the rubber mats and chatting away and giggling, and it's laughter that is the predominant sound here, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He has this great faculty for catching the kids in the middle of expressing some element of mischief or joy. He's really great at catching them as they're about to express something, and you're absolutely right, it's so evocative of being surrounded by a gaggle of noisy kids. And again, he's managed to find real human moments amidst a huge amount of suffering.
Well, talking of human moments, Nish, the next photographer we're going to take a look at has been capturing human moments for more than half a century, and she's the incredibly worthy recipient of the 2021 Sony World Photography Award for Outstanding Contribution to Photography.
Yeah, previous winners of this award include Martin Parr, Candida Hoffer, Mary Ellen Mark, Nadav Kanda and William Eggleston. And this year's winner joins that illustrious list of people who have left a real, tangible mark on the world of photography.
Let's take a closer look at the work of Graciela Iturbide.